What's good, YouTube? And I'm back with another video. I'm trying to maintain pushing out content, and I'm doing my best that I can, and we're gonna strive to be great. First things first, if you guys watching this video, I love you and I appreciate y'all. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Everybody who you think might enjoy this video, we're gonna get into this video. Now, I want to talk to you guys about the truth about Chicago. Chicago is a beautiful city. It's a great city, but it gets overlooked and underlooked in certain situations, in certain aspects. So I just want to elaborate and explain to you some of the things that may get overlooked or may get underlooked. Now, to make it fair, I haven't lived in the city in over probably about 2 years at this point now, but I was born and raised in the city, in the suburbs, moved all around the city, so I know a little bit about everything. So I can give you a general knowledge about the city itself. When it comes to Chicago itself, what tourists see, people who go to Chicago normally go to Chicago for one thing, and that's to go to downtown area. Now, people also have family in Chicago, so they go to visit here and there, swiftly, to, maybe, so they got some cousins on the south side, west side, whatever. But primarily, people who are tourists go for the downtown area, and downtown itself is its own thing. People like me, I say Chicago, it's two Chicagos. It's not really just one Chicago, it's two Chicagos. Because downtown area is the affluent area. You got that's where all the money is put into, all that good stuff. Then you got the south side, the west, those are like the lower income areas. So, and it's totally different. It's decrepit versus compared to the downtown area. Also, on top of that, if you go up north, you got Evanston. That's more of an affluent suburbs compared to going down south where you got Joliet, Homewood, all them areas, Flossmoor, all them areas. It's a different type of vibe. Now, to explain the history of the city, at one point, the south side itself was never just like how it is today. It was completely different. You had white people, you had black people, you had Mexicans who all they went to school together in the 1960s. Like Michelle Obama, for example, she lives in Chicago. I think she went to Hyde Park High School, something like that. I forget. I don't know exactly what it is, but I think she went to Hyde Park, but I could be wrong. But she even talks about in her book that it was different. The white kids lived in the same communities in the South Side, and they were able to come together and go to school together and things like that. But then the white flight, that happened. So all the white kids went down to the suburbs to aspire better education. So essentially, when all the white kids went down south to the suburbs, they all wanted to have better education. So once that happens, the minorities who remained in their cities, the south side, that caused some kind of clash. It might not have been a big clash, but it definitely hurt a lot of the kids who grew up with these white kids or these other type of races. But once they all left, they fled south. That's when everything became predominantly minorities, and that just caused a lot of kind of division in the communities. Also, on top of that, certain parts of the south side grew up in projects. Projects, they were tall buildings. People were stacked in these buildings, and then that's how they lived. So all these apartments, whatever you want to call them, and it could house a lot of people in those things. And when it comes to gang violence in the city, the gangs were originally in the city were to protect those blocks, because the way the cities ran, a lot of the blocks are right next to each other. So the projects are close to each other, or they were back in the day. So the gangs, right, they were pretty much to protect the project buildings, the people who lived in those projects, and to protect the people from the other projects. So pretty much people who come in and try to start havoc, whatever. They were there to protect those their people. Or like, for example, back in the day, school, the gangs are not like how it is today. So the gangs were really just, a group of friends, group of people, the community, and they protect their own from other people who want to create violence for their own peoples. Now, more recently, there was a reverse migration going on. So in the suburbs, a lot of the white people are fleeing up north back to the city. Same with the south side. A lot of gentrification is going on. If you go in Chicago right now, you can go in the hood if you want to, and you will see like a lot of these. You can go in these bad neighborhoods, and you can see these. Every once in a while, you might see a nice house in the hood somewhere, and it's weird. It's weird to see. When I was in high school, I went to the school in the south suburbs, 20 minutes south of south side Chicago, and it was a predominantly white school in like 1960s, 1970s. So if you go in one of the buildings, you will see all these awardees and all these people who played sports were all white. But now it's a reverse, like I just said. And it's crazy to see how that all the change goes on in the city, and how money can affect the way people live. Like I told you, now if you go to the suburbs, a lot of the people who were in the city are now moving down south because they are trying to, pursue a better education. But if I'm gonna be 100% honest with you, a lot of the problems that Chicago faces is really the kids having kids. A lot of young kids having kids, and the parents are never really there to take care of their child, or they don't have enough financial stability to take care of a child, and that's where a lot of our issues come from. The gang violence in Chicago is also, back then, a lot of the reasons why the gangs happen now, like the violence happens now, is because there's no leadership no more. Back then there was at least leadership. A couple of arrests that have happened with the gang leaders caused a lot of separation, and it caused a lot of conflict because there's nobody really running these gangs and showing a way. So that's why a lot of the violence has been going on the way it has been going on too. And on top of that, if you think about it like this, right? If somebody kills your best friend, your homie, the person you grew up since you was a baby, how would you react to it? How would you feel? You would want revenge in some type of way, shape, or form. And that's how they feel. They feel like it can never really end because the cycle can never stop, because anybody who not gonna ever stop until that person who killed your homie is dead. But then when you kill that person, then they gonna want to get you. So it's it's a cycle. So it's really a cycle that probably can never really end. But the way that it probably could end is if somebody just said, you know what, let's call it truce, this and that, and we good. But the way it's going, I don't think that will ever happen. Violence now in Chicago is more widespread. It's more, not really much downtown area, which is, let's make this clear. It's not downtown area. Downtown area is safe. Petty people, petty thieves, things like that nature, but nothing too major. I'm talking about primarily South Side Chicago, right? But going back to the violence in the South Side and the West Side, things like that of that nature, pretty much the people who are doing these crimes are individuals, parents at home, or whatever the case may be. There's nobody to tell them, like, this is not good. So the violence is there's so many different cliques and sets in a city, in the South Side Chicago or wherever you at in the city or in inner city, that it's not even really about, gangs no more. Like, people say all the time, it's not really about gangs no more at this point. It's really just about revenge and get backs. You know what I'm saying? It's really just about those things. It's really not even about no gangs no more at this point. Yeah, you got affiliations, but it's really not even about that no more, for real. Because the next block over could really be your opposition. You know what I'm saying? So it's really like, it's complicated, and it's so deep in a city to where it's like, it's not like anywhere else in the world. It's so embedded in the city and so deep, and it spreads so far out that it's like, it's so much. That's the reason why it's so much conflict. Now, when we talk about downtown area and we talk about the second Chicago that I claim, that's where, like I said before, that's where all the money is. That's where all the beauty is. That's where all the attractions go to. You can always find something new in this city. You can always find something new downtown. It's crazy how different it is. It's crazy how completely different the downtown area is compared to the inner cities. I said this before, but this is just me speaking my mind. I feel like more money should be put into these inner cities rather than downtown area. I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but that's just something I think about. I'm like, wow, they put all this money into downtown area, but never really put any money in towards inner cities, the low income areas. I remember driving around and you see buildings with the red X on them, a lot of things like that. And it's just like, it's sad because this is like the way of life for a lot of people who live in these inner cities. Downtown is not like that. Downtown is completely opposite. Everything's expensive. You have no really worries about walking down the wrong street or anything like that. For the most part, everything's good. And speaking of that, Chicago, even in the inner cities, now obviously there's some blocks you just don't walk down because it's like stupid, because people who are in that area generally lived in that area and stayed in that area for a long time, so they know everybody in that area. So you don't want to just walk down a random block that you just don't know, right? So on top of that, for the most part, if you go to the South Side, you walk down the street, nobody gonna really mess with you, because a lot of the violence happens at night. So it's very, very, very rare instances where things of violence happen, during the daytime stuff. I think one of the main things I want a lot of people to understand, and whoever's watching this video to understand about the city of Chicago, is that it's a very deep and diverse city. Martin Luther King even said it himself in one of his speeches or something like that. He said that out of all cities he's ever been to, that Chicago was the most segregated city. And that is true. Even if you go downtown, you got Chinatown, Greektown. You have a place predominantly African Americans. You have a place for Mexicans. You have a place for the Polish. And I think that's a beauty in it, but then it's also a con. I don't know how to feel about this, because it's a good thing and a bad thing. It shows the diversity, but it also shows that sometimes we get caught up in our own peoples that we don't want to reach out or ask for help, because we get so caught up in our own situation, our own peoples, that we forget, like, we still live in the same city. We don't want to help each other. And that's where a lot of the problems and issues come from. If you ask me, I think Chicago has the potential to be the best city in the world. It has so much potential to be a great city. It's already a great city. In my opinion, it's the best city in the country. But we have our issues, and it's things that we can do to be a better city. Even then, Chicago, the downtown area, it's beautiful. You won't see anything like it. You go downtown, you see the skyline, you see the architecture, you see the people. Downtown is unmatched. It's a big city, but it's clean. The people are so skilled and artistic. Culture of Chicago alone is amazing. People try to take and manipulate the style, the swag, all that, but it goes unnoticed because we so busy, especially in the inner cities, we so busy beefing with ourselves that we forget that people taking our way of life, our style. But if we all come together in the city of Chicago, we can do something really great, and I believe it. But it takes us as a city, as a people, to come together and make the city what I think that it really can be at the end of the day. Watching this video, make sure you like, share, subscribe if you're new. I love you guys, and see any type of video, comment down below what you want to see from me, and I got you guys. I'm gonna try my best to get it out there for you. I love you guys. See you later.